And now, in the honor of Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. Joe had done the best he could considering the circumstances. It wasn't much, but at least they had a roof, and though it smelled a little, the heater was able to take some of the chill out of the air. He helped his pregnant wife find somewhere to get off her feet to relieve her swollen ankles. As he sat there and rubbed her feet, Joe couldn't help but wonder why the timing of this trip had to be right now. His wife could have the baby any time now. But those in charge hadn't left them much choice. This would be their first Christmas, and they couldn't even spend it at home. Suddenly, Joe's wife cried out in pain. Oh no, thought Joe. Not now. This was no place to have a baby. It was barely a place worthy of sleeping. And Joe was no doctor. His wife didn't seem to care. She was having this baby with or without his help. So Joe said a quick prayer and did his best to help deliver the baby. When he heard those first cries in the still of the night, Joe was overwhelmed with emotion. What he had just been a part of was nothing short of a miracle, the birth of a child. He laid the baby on his wife's chest and sat back in disbelief at what had just taken place. Suddenly, this grungy place was the only place in the world Joe wanted to be. He patted that old heater and gave thanks that all had gone well. Shortly after this, some men working the night shift nearby stopped in to visit and shared quite the story. They stunk to high heaven, but they were welcome visitors. Had they been at home, the baby could have been laid down in a crib made by Joe's skilled hands. Instead, this manger would have to do. Why would a feed trough be in their room, you ask? Well, it belonged to that old heater, whom I may have failed to mention was a donkey. While Joe was just a carpenter, his wife is more well known today. Her name was Mary, and that baby Mary had just given birth to was Jesus, the Prince of Peace, the King of Kings, the Savior of the world. That first Christmas that Joe had wished they could be home for was the first Christmas for the entire world. Joe, of course, was better known as Joseph. And those stinky night shift workers with the incredible story? They were the shepherds who came to see the Messiah, lying in a manger, the greatest gift ever given. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the rest of the story. Stay salty and be kind, my friends. Merry Christmas.